Hello, and welcome to my FE6 Meh Units Only Ironman. This series will go through the trials and tribulations I faced each week during each of my live streams, which will give new viewers a sort of cliff notes that transpired over a 3-hour plus stream. If you would like to actively participate in the run, I stream this Ironman on Mondays via Twitch at 7 o'clock PM Pacific Standard Time. Now, without further ado, please enjoy the recap. In Chapter 1 of Attempt 1 of my FE6 Meh Units Only Ironman, we get access to Bors the Armor Knight, who has good bulk as a frontline, but has a terrible matchup against the large quantity of axe units in Chapter 1. We also get our Lord unit, Roy, who has a decent stat spread and uses super accurate swords to combat enemies, but due to his relatively low starting health and defense, he can potentially get surrounded and killed even on a defensive tile. The last unit is Wolt the Archer, who has inherited the genes of Will from FE7. Will, as many know from the previous Ironman, was possibly one of my best units. I have high hopes for Wolt due to his... Wolt is also the son of Rebecca? It's okay. I believe in my boy, and therefore I believe in you, Wolt. Now, normally it is possible to do this first chapter with these 3 units, but to save myself some sanity and a bunch of time for you, I will make use of Marcus and the cavalry units minimally until battle preps are available in Chapter 6 of this Ironman. The strategy for these first few chapters will be pretty simple in nature, as we will be taking defensive positions to allow for more optimal counterattacks the following turns. It also gives us time to rearrange equipment off of our 2 cavalry units. The justification for this is that early game FE6 hard mode units have egregiously bloated stats. In most cases, it requires several ally units to defeat one enemy. We are encouraged to move a little aggressively though, as a brigand is heading down to pillage the village directly east of us, which contains our starting capital of 5,000 gold. Since this is early into the run, I tend to push my luck as the amount of time lost will be minimal, and nothing bad happens this time, luckily. During these incursions, we also get our first levels on each of our usable units, getting 3 to 4 stack growths each. Certainly no complaints from me. We then try to build up supports with Roy and Wolt, while we cheese a cheeky extra level on Wolt by making a pincushion out of the boss of this chapter. We then use the rest of our units to set up a clean kill for Roy. With that, we seize the throne and have Roy meet up with his father Ellawood, one of the only parental figures in Fire Emblem to actually stay alive throughout an entire game. Truly amazing. In Chapter 2 of this Meh Units Only Ironman, we get access to Ellen the Cleric and Merlinus the Merchant, which are the supportive backbone of the early game. Ellen is a staff bot that heals and uses utility staves, while Merlinus acts as your mobile convoy. He doesn't level or participate in combat, but you can have him secure villages and do shopping for your party. Not exactly glamorous, but useful. We start off by having Roy and Wolt clear out a nearby soldier that's trying to block off a fort, allowing us to rescue chain Marcus onto said fort and have him hold back the enemy forces while we wait for our mercenary reinforcements. Speaking of which, we get access to 3 additional units, which will form the core of our early game offense. The 3 in question being Deke the Mercenary, Wade the Fighter, and Lot the Fighter. Deke was a unit I considered banning for this run, as his base stats are very respectable, but I figured since Rutger is banned already, we can have Deke potentially help with bosses to avoid us waiting for the heat death of the universe to complete certain chapters. Wade is next, being the first of 2 fighters that has a slightly higher strength score compared to Lot, but has lower overall stats with the exception of luck. Granted, this does allow him to avoid low crit percentiles. Lot, on the other hand, has generally more well spread out stats, allowing for more consistent hits and 2 extra base speed points, allowing for doubling to occur more often earlier. Most playthroughs have you put a couple levels in each to see who comes out better, but in our case we will be using both whenever possible, as we will be making use of the support bonuses these two give each other along with Deke. I would also like to take a brief moment to look over Shanna's stats, as I was so flabbergasted at how good her base stats were at level 1. Aside from strength and HP, she has comparable stats to Deke, but I can't use her. I am going to do myself a favor and not even look at other band units from this point forward. But we will gladly take Shayna's Slim Lance so we can make boars hit more consistently, as Slim Lances boast higher hit rates and even a small crit chance for some cheeky kills. With the new units obtained, we incrementally clear out the encroaching enemy forces by pulling one or two at a time and cleaning them up immediately afterwards. During this time, we have Merlinus visit the nearby village, who graciously give him an Armor Slayer, a great weapon for Deke to make use of on enemy Armor Knights if Lot and Wade can't break a certain target. Merlinus also purchases replacement iron weapons, javelins, and vulneraries that we ferry around the army with Shayna, while the rest of the army takes this time to clear out the remaining eastern blockade, resulting in a few levels and a near perfect level for Lot. Good job, buddy! I then have Wade make use of his hammer to beat down the boss over the course of several turns, and seize the map, leading us to the last chapter of the stream. In Chapter 3 of my FE6 Meh Units Only Ironman, we get access to our first thief, Chad, a unit who will face minimal combat as he cannot deal enough damage or take any damage for that matter. He will be used for opening doors and chests, as well as stealing valuables whenever possible. He will also have a niche in Chapter 5 that only he can fulfill. We start off by splitting our army, with Bors and Marcus, as well as Chad, heading north to get another unit recruited from the village, while the rest of the army assaults Arafin Castle. The only real tricky parts in this map are the cavalry reinforcements that spawn a few turns in, and the starting position of our units. As there are still no battle preps, the units are pre-deployed in unfavorable spots, with units such as Chad, Wolt, Merlinus, and Ellen being extremely close to the frontline enemies, while our more useful units get placed further away. At most, it is a slight inconvenience, but I really don't understand the design philosophy, as we aren't being ambushed. We are in fact attacking the castle. But oh well. The good thing is that Wade and Lot got good overall levels to easily clear out soldiers with good hit chances. Bors and Marcus also have good matchups into the group of northern forces as well, allowing us to get a fantastic offensive level for Bors. As we continue to press towards the castle, we are treated to the equivalent of boss fight musical chairs between the last boss of the game, the first mid-boss of the game, and a low-level peon to really demonstrate how outclassed we are in the moment. This shuffle is also what triggers the cavalry reinforcements mentioned earlier. These units are strong in a vacuum, but as long as we clear out the majority of the soldiers in the keep before they approach, we can wall them off and pick them apart. But I also step on a secondary reinforcement line and spawn a set of 4 cavalry on the following turn. Whoops. That's okay though. We can recruit our first mage unit, Lug, while we let Past Tilted deal with that. That poor son of a gun. Lug is an anima mage who has good speed stats and growths, but tends to lack in the magic power department. Are we going to see a Nino 2.0 for this Iron Man? The answer is yes. Oh my god. These levels are rough. Bad levels aside, we do eventually deal with the cavalry blocking our way, just as our split army regroups. We then move up like a homogeneous ooze, slowly eating away the remaining enemy forces, before splintering off again to retrieve the men's staff, 3,000 gold, and a halberd for future horse-based difficulties. With all the treasures retrieved, we spend an exorbitant amount of time melting away at the boss Slater's health, until Deke gets tired of waiting and crit kills him with his shiny new Armor Slayer. He got himself 1 health for the level too, but out of all the units to get a dead level on, we can afford it on him. With that, we seize the map and watch Hector die in a dungeon completely away from a raging battlefield like his death was foretold in the prequel, FE7.